Hi, welcome to Riff Media. I'm here with the very lovely Loz Campbell today. How are you doing?
That was very nice. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Well, all of the people we look after are lovely, of course, but it's a Monday and the beginning of the week, so I'm sure you've got lots in store to tell us. Really keen to learn a little bit more about what Loz is all about, what's going on in your world, what's coming up, what's happening. So yeah, we're really excited to have you on. I know that we are going to talk about your headline gigs as well. That's a really important one. I'm going to make sure we get this out in time for those. So yeah, how's it been going? What's been occurring?
Many things. I last saw you at Just Push Play, I believe, back
You did?
in August. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So after that, we went into the studio to start our album. And just last weekend, we've had the first two tracks land. So we've been kind of sitting on them and, you know, listening to them on car speakers, every type of speaker you can
Yeah.
imagine, and sort of like okay in them. I think that the last mix that came through for Bad Girl, I actually blew one of my car speakers.
Brilliant.
So it's not that great for me to actually test in the car now because I've got like 3 speakers rather than 4. So yeah, a bit of a disadvantage. But yeah, we've just been doing that. We did play KK Steel Mill for the New Wave Classic Rock compilation albumy thing that went on.
What did you
That
think
was
of that?
wicked.
That venue's fab, isn't it?
One of my favourites. I didn't realise how good it was, to be fair, because it's just come on my radar
Yeah.
fairly recently. I mean, it's not an area we've really touched on that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic, and I'm definitely up for going back there.
Yeah, 100%. Great venue. Really good sound. I didn't actually manage to make it to the festival in the end. I was due to go, but I heard good reports all round. So yeah, that's a really good one for you guys to play for sure.
Yeah, it's plenty of room to run around on that stage.
Yes, of which you like to do. And I did see the picture evidence of you standing straddled upon your band members, which was a fantastic shot. Whoever got that.
Yeah, oh, thank you. Funnily enough, we'd actually changed the song that we do that on because it's something that we've been doing for about a year and a year and a couple of months now. And we've always done it on the last song, which is always the same song.
Yeah.
And just before that gig, we was like, should we do the last song first? So we had to then fit where we were going to put the pyramid. And, there were talks of me going up onto the pyramid with my guitar. But everyone just felt like, no, it's way too big of a stage to be making mistakes. Like, we've got to nail this. So because I didn't have a microphone in my hand or anything, I was able to do the double horns. So yeah, that's a keeper, I think. No microphone, no guitar, just get up there and be a gymnast for 5 seconds.
Oh, it's fabulous. I don't know many bands that actually decide that acrobatics on stage is a good idea, but I think you're young and nimble enough to get away with it. So
Yeah, for the time being, yeah.
just about. So tell me a little bit about, for those of us that aren't so familiar with yourself, what's your background? I know that you're from the wonderful Yorkshire, of course, if anybody couldn't tell from that very captivating accent that you have there.
I've heard it described a lot worse.
I love it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so anybody that doesn't know me, I've been going for about coming up to 10 years now. Can't believe that. So yeah, I started off when I was about 15, playing my local festivals and pubs, etc. Formed a band a couple of years into sort of live performance, and everything sort of spiraled from there. Really, just kept releasing music and gaining new fans, and opportunities came up to play down in London, and we got involved in a pretty cool punk scene down there. even though we've never really been punked, they sort of welcomed us with open arms and, you know, really opened his eyes to, wow, okay, there's somewhere outside of Wakefield and it's worth going to. And then, you know, it's like you just meet people, they're like, oh, do you want to come and play in Manchester? And, you know, that's just how it works for us. Just networking constantly and gigging constant. So yeah, style wise, it's hard to pigeonhole, isn't it? But
Yeah,
probably like a modern rock, so like an alternative rock, I would say.
yeah,
Big
definitely.
riffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Tasty, spicy riffs, I think I've read somewhere, is something that's been a tone to you, and which I have witnessed. So, like I said, I think in fact, the first time I saw you and met you was the warm up Friday night for Just Push Play, which is run by Lee Graham, very good friend of mine. And I was talking to somebody. In fact, it may have even been Lee, I think, because I think he was down the front to watch you. And I'd never heard you before. And I was instantly like, who's this chick? Who is this? Where's she come from? And you had me, and that was it then. I was down at the front taking pictures. You jumped out into the crowd, you know, the old with the guitar through the crowd. That was fun. Yeah, I mean, really great first impressions for me. And you know, just to see how you come across, you're like so confident, you've got a real buzz about you and an energy, and there's not one person that in my opinion, that can't like not like you. I don't understand, you know, how you just turned into this like being in the room, and you just took over, and it was like there was nobody else there for a moment. So yeah, really impressed for me, which is why I wanted to come and have a chat, because there is so very little these days, I find, that you can instantly switch on to. It's a really tough market, as I'm sure you
Yeah.
know. um
Yeah.
the scene is hard work. You've got to really shout to be noticed, and I think, you know, you're doing that, and it was really really good to see. um and you know, how are you finding that, kind of like trying to navigate your way through and get to the right paces, you know? And you said you're networking, obviously that's the first hardest challenge and the best thing you can be doing, but you know, how are you finding trying to find your feet?
Yeah, it's a good question. And thanks so much for, you know, saying all that about the gig, because I mean, everything that you've said, I try to put across, and I'm really glad that that energy is being sort of received well. Um, Navigating the scene, yeah, is massively difficult, and even though I started off young, I am still now finding my place, you know. Um, like you say, for example, Jesus, where have you come from? And then there's other people that, you know, might have been following me for years, or you go play somewhere else and, you know, you might finish one gig and you feel like, well, yeah, everybody knows me, this is really going well. Then you play somewhere else, it's like, nobody knows you. You've really got to go back to basics and like prove yourself. And I feel like a lot of the time, especially on these festival lineups where you are meeting so many new people, it's all about proving yourself. Like you say, what can you do to stick yourself out and sort of say, this is why we're here, this is why we're on this bill, you know. And I think when we're talking about navigating the scene, that energy and everything that you witness live is really, really difficult to put across in a festival application or email or something. Yeah, you can say, you know, raw alt rock band full of energy. Anybody can write that. Like if you've physically seen somebody, it's a lot easier, I think. I know all festival organisers are so busy and they can't get to every gig, but we had a couple of festival organisers from other festivals come and see us this summer at different ones. And they came up to us afterwards and said similar things to you and was like, right, we had no idea who you are, but you're on our festival next year. And that is the sweetest moment, because you hammer these applications, and I say it's really hard sometimes to put yourself across, because somebody might listen to a 10-second clip and think, nah, shit. But, you know, when somebody's physically seeing you and they're saying they want you because of what they've seen, that's a key moment. And I think, you know, all you can do is just play as much as possible and get seen by as many people as possible. And that's not like saying, oh, we only want to play sold out gigs, or we only want to do O2 Academies. I mean, that's playing everywhere you can.
Yeah.
Like, for example, next Monday we're going to Grimsby. Some people might think, why are you playing in Grimsby? Because there might be people there that aren't seen us. Do you know what I mean? So that's always been my attitude. Now I've sort of played the game, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of festivals, you're popping up all over the place for later this year and into next year. So I know that seems to be a growing platform for you guys. And I also spotted that you're in the heats for Stone Dead. So
I saw you wearing your t-shirt. I was going to mention it. Yeah.
So that's, I mean, I'm actually on the production team for Stone Dead as well. So I get heavily involved with that side of things. And of course, we run the opening poll, and that's voted for the public. But then obviously when we get to the end, that will be voted on. And I think, you know, that's become a really kind of nice big competition in the industry. But not only you know, you get the chance to participate. If you don't get through, you still get this exposure to so many people that are in the Stone Dead kind of circles, which I think is one of the greatest things that a festival can do, you know. And I'm biased maybe, but actually, you know, they were doing this before I even joined the team. So I've always been really behind that. And a lot of people have the attitude of, well, you know, it's a bit like a battle of the bands. Kind of, but actually, what's wrong with that? Because then you still get to see what the UK and actually wider, because we've got people entering from internationally as well. So you get to see what those bands have to offer that you might not have heard prior. So yeah, exciting that you're in the heats for that.
I was super pleased actually. We were doing a photo shoot yesterday and we got the email through, and yeah, it is wicked, and that is a little boost. But I did see this morning that there is some, you know, quite tasty competition, like you say. So, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, we will indeed. So I'm hoping, I mean, I get to quite a lot of festivals throughout the year, so I'm hoping I'll get to see you at some, especially as we go into the summer. So I guess then this might be the right time to talk about your headline gigs that are coming up. So I know you've got one in your hometown, and the first one a little bit closer to me, down in Cambridge. So how did they come about, and why Cambridge?
Good questions. So yeah, I'll start with Cambridge. Well, basically, I've been sort of relocating in the last year or so, and I've actually spent quite a bit of time down in Cambridge due to my other alter ego, what I do, which I like to keep under wraps. That sounds dodgy, but it's definitely not.
It sounds dodgy, but I promise you it's not.
Yeah. So I just thought, well, it'd be really cool to do kind of two hometown gigs, because I've split myself in two over the past year. I've got like my Cambridge links, and obviously Wakefield is where I'm from. Now, originally we were going to do another full week-long tour, but because we've just started doing the album, I decided to postpone that a bit, you know, and really come back with a kick and do a full big tour when that comes out.
Yeah.
But I still wanted to keep us out there and, you know, give the people what they want, so to speak. And, you know, we have not headlined Cambridge yet. And after the response from Just Push Play, I thought, you know what, we need to get down this area a bit more, rather than just doing London and, you know, going straight there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've 2019 I think we last played Portland Arms in Cambridge. That was with False Hearts. So it
Yeah,
will be good to go back and headline.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, and Wakefield won. I mean, we haven't played a hometown gig in about 3 years. We've played around about, we've done Bradford, Sheffield. But I sort of thought, well, a lot of people that are in Wakefield or Leeds don't really want to travel to Bradford or Sheffield sometimes. So I thought, we really do need to go back home. And, booking agent did say, oh, why do you want to play Wakefield? It's like, well, it's where I'm from. We've got to go back to his roots at some point. So yeah, that should be a good night. And I've got a point to prove with Wakefield. This is where I do turn into a bit of a punk as well, because we've lost quite a lot of his music venues, sadly.
Yeah,
And I really want to prove a point on the 24th of November that it is still possible to put an original band on
yeah.
and sell the place. And, seems to be like it's going to be a busy night. So we won't say a point proven yet, but we'll try it.
Yeah, you can let us know at Riff Yard afterwards, and I'll put it out on the socials for you and say she came to prove a point, and she did. I'm sure you will. Well, I mean, everybody loves a hometown gig, and I think there's something about a hometown gig that makes your original fans, I guess, feel special because they haven't got to go far. They can, if they like to drink, they can have a drink probably, and they know that they'll get to have a chat with you. And that it's just a nice thing, isn't it? And I think it's really important to do those hometown gigs because ultimately that's where your roots have come from and probably a real good grounding for where you went after that. So yeah, I think it's great, and I think you definitely have a point to prove that it there is still live music out there. It's hard to, like we were talking about before, navigate that scene, but actually if you get it right, time it right, you do still get those bands filling those venues. And I think that's the most important for the UK scene right now, is just getting everybody back out and into those venues. I think it's just a shame, obviously no one's got any bloody money, so it's
Yeah.
like where can we go next? But I think every band that I've come across recently, they're being really fair to their fans. The ticket prices are not very high, and actually they're not as high as they should be, which makes things difficult. But I think it's nice because otherwise people who can't go, they don't get to experience things, and that's when the scene dies a little bit. So I think you're doing everything right, and the hometown gigs are a big tick in the box, for me anyway. So yeah, well, I guess we should probably plug where you can get the tickets for these gigs. So tell us.
Yeah, direct from our website. So it's www.lozcampbellmusic.co.uk. All the tour dates are on there.
Perfect. So then we've got the headline gig on the 3rd of November, Portland Arms in Cambridge. And that is with Stone Pit Drive and the Forsaken. Is that the
That's
one?
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Testing my research there.
Well done.
Have you got any supports confirmed for the 24th of November gig at Wakefield, or are you waiting?
Yeah. We're bringing his friends over from Whitby. They're the Hot Rockets.
Nice.
And also Crowley.
Okay, cool. So they're all set as well to join you.
Yeah, that's all booked in, yeah.
Fabulous. Sadly, and more annoyingly, I can't make either of those dates because I'm away. But you did very kindly invite me, so thank you very much. But I'm hoping that I'll get to come and see you in the new year. And like I say, if not, I'll see you at some festivals. Any sneaky information about when you hope the album might be out?
Yeah, Lee's just trying to get this out of me as well, actually. I said an optimistic this time next year.
Yeah.
However, that might be optimistic, so we'll see.
Well, they take time, and it's when you're still working a day job and working your way around everything else. It takes time, so we'll just have to be patient, won't we?
Yeah, and I need to get some writing done.
Yeah, there's also that. Find some time to write. But yeah, well, I'm sure you'll keep us on our toes on your socials. And I know that you've got lots of things in the pipeline, so we'll look forward to keeping track of that. Also, and I'm going to throw a wild question at you now. It's not, don't worry, it's not too wild. Just one that I hadn't prepared you with. So I'll pitch it, and if you can give me an answer, I'll be quite impressed. And if you can pick a UK based answer, I'll pop it on our track of the week playlist. So who right now in the UK scene is really ticking the box for you in terms of someone to watch or play alongside?
Oh, I might need a minute.
Yeah, it's a toughie. There's a lot going on out there.
I am gonna say, because I saw them last week as well, and I've been following these guys for years. Those Damn Crows.
Yeah, good choice.
They are, for me, one of the hardest working bands. They've connected with their audience amazingly to the point where it's almost a cult. I think they would agree. You know, and I started following them probably back in 2018, just before we were put on the Hear It Records compilation together. I remember thinking, oh, these guys are mint. And they've just climbed and climbed and climbed. And like, I went to see them at the Stylist in Leeds last week, and I saw them there a couple of years ago, supporting the Wild Arts, and it was full, but it was rammed last week. I'm not even joking you. They just keep up in the game, and I think they are ones sort of to look up to in how hardworking you have to be to make it work like that.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I probably saw them around the same time as you the first time. I think it was 2018. And weirdly, they were supporting Stone Broken. And I'd never heard of them, but they did exactly what they're still doing now. Shane's still jumping around and climbing all over everything and he was the first time I saw them. So yeah, I'd probably have to agree with you. Actually, they've done very, very well, and they are packing out venues. So good choice. So now I'm going to go away.
And also, when you said to play alongside, I had to say them because I'd like to give him a run for his money on his acrobatics. So if he'd like to take me up on the offer, I'm ready.
Oh, they are getting tagged in this interview, and I'm going to make sure that he knows, and I'm going to make sure that happens. And I want to be there, personally invited on that day when that happens. I'm going to get, in fact, I might even try and organise it to see if I can get you to do like an acrobatics off against each other. Get you on stage for the last song or something. That'd be awesome. No, that's amazing. So yeah, so I will we'll get them on our track of the week playlist for you. So keep a listen out. And we'll get this interview out for you ahead of your Cambridge gig. And I wish you all the best with the headliners and the rest of the festivals for the rest of the year. And hopefully we'll catch up again soon.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thanks very much for your time, mate.
Cheers.
Cheers.